Hello, today we'll take a stroll around the main exhibition park in Moscow and in the past the whole country, VDNKh. It's a huge park featuring numerous architectural monuments and a beautiful landscape. In 1934, the Soviet government decided to create an exhibition dedicated to the 20th anniversary of the Soviet state. The exhibition was supposed to showcase the results of collectivization and successes in agriculture. The decision to create the exhibition was announced at the Second All-Union Congress of Collective Farm Workers in 1935. It was proposed by People's Commissar of Agriculture Mikhail Chernov. A working committee was created and the design process began. The location of the future exhibition changed several times. Eventually, they decided to build it near Ostankino. Vyacheslav Oltarzhevsky, who already had experience creating smaller exhibition spaces and had helped design an artisanal and industrial exhibition at the site of the future Gorky Park, was selected as the chief architect of the project. The exhibition was supposed to open by the 1st of August 1937, but it took quite a while to approve the layout and the lineup of exhibition participants, so work only began in 1936. For this reason, everyone involved in the construction was eventually persecuted, and Oltarzhevsky was exiled to Vorkuta. The position of chief architect was filled by Sergei Chernyshov, who at the time oversaw the ingenious plan for Moscow's reconstruction and development. Sergei Chernyshov used the layout proposed by Oltarzhevsky, but changed the design by completely altering the appearance of the pavilions. Some of them were criticized and had to be dismantled. In 2 years, nearly everything was rebuilt. Instead of on the 1st of August 1937, the exhibition opened 2 years later, in 1939. During the Second World War, the pavilions, then used for storage, were badly damaged and part of the exhibition was bombed. After the war, the decision was made to modernize the exhibition complex. The exhibition complex was renovated after the war. Anatoly Zhukov and Radov Kliks were appointed as chief architects. Under their leadership, the renovation of the exhibition complex began, featuring a new parterre with 14 fountains and lamps shaped like ears of wheat. In 1956, the exhibition was divided into agricultural and industrial sections, and in 1959 it was renamed VDNKh, or Exhibition of the Achievements of the National Economy. A new main entrance, which became the symbol of the modern exhibition, was built in 1954. It's this sculpture that makes the exhibition complex so recognizable today. The main entrance is framed by 2 semicircle structures with ticket offices, because back then people had to pay to enter. The former main entrance can be found next to pavilion number 75. It was featured in such famous movies as They Met in Moscow, Volga Volga and Tanya. The new entrance was supposed to be located here, although the original pavilion was dismantled. It was designed by Oltarzhevsky and built in 1937. In 1939 it was replaced by the new entrance, which survives to this day. Central Pavilion number 1, built in 1954, is the most beautiful and important pavilion in the exhibition. This remarkable building with its golden spire was designed by the architect Shuko. Its main purpose was to welcome visitors to the exhibition. The building is currently under renovation. The coat of arms of the Karelo-Finnish Soviet Socialist Republic, which disappeared in the late Soviet period, was restored. The Republic was liquidated in 1958, and its emblem was consequently removed from the main facade of the Central Pavilion. One of the most recognizable symbols of VDNKh is the Friendship of Nations fountain. When conceived, the fountain was called the Golden Sheaf. The original plan was to put a monument to Stalin here in the 1950s, but it was later decided to install the fountain instead. The fountain was created by sculptors Topuridze and Konstantinovsky. It depicts 16 golden women, each symbolizing a republic of the USSR. The fountain has recently been renovated and now sparkles with gold again. It's controlled by 8 pumps that pump water from 880 jets. This wonderful pavilion was built in 1954 by Estonian architects Arman and Volberg. Today it's entitled Kyrgyzstan. The exhibition has repeatedly changed its concept. In the late 1950s it switched to industry-themed pavilions, and the Estonian SSSR pavilion became dedicated to biology. In the 2000s, during the times of the All-Russian Exhibition Center, it was rededicated to Kyrgyzstan. This space was initially intended for the Golden Sheaf, or Friendship of Nations fountain that we saw earlier, but they later decided to use it for the wonderful stone flower fountain decorated with beautiful mosaic panels.
One
of the largest pavilions at VDNKh is the Mechanization Pavilion. That was its original name. It was built in 1939 and initially looks like an open-glass hangar that visitors could pass through to enter the park while enjoying the beautiful views from inside. But Moscow's climate made the structure very difficult to operate, so as early as the late 1990s they decided to rebuild it. In 1954, after a radical makeover, the building was expanded and received a large domed hall. This gave it an architectural resemblance to Italian churches. The pavilion's name has changed several times, first to mechanical engineering and later in the 1960s to space. And today, after the renovation, it features an exposition dedicated to the history of space exploration. It's no coincidence that a Vostok rocket has been installed nearby. By 1939, most of the pavilions were built out of wood and covered with various plaster materials of alabaster. By 1954, they decided to build brick pavilions with metal and even reinforced concrete structures. But what sets the post-war pavilions apart is their wonderful unique decor, made of various materials, such as glass, mosaic, colored concrete and plaster. The pavilions located along the Ring Road, which runs through the entire exhibition complex, are no less interesting. If you follow this road, you will see the New in the Village exposition and the collective farmhouse of culture, built in 1959 by architects Avdotiev and Korneev. Nearby, you can find various exemplary homes that could be found in the Russian countryside. VDNKh is also an exhibition of the achievements of Soviet architecture. That architecture changed throughout the Soviet era. The initially dominant Stalinist architecture was later replaced by new pavilions. The Floriculture and Landscaping Pavilion is a striking example of the architecture of the 1970s. The Golden Ear Fountain appeared in 1954. It actually had a predecessor installed in 1939. The fountain was originally made from copper sheets. However, it gradually fell into disrepair, so in 1949 it was replaced with a new fountain with mosaic inserts. One of the most striking pavilions, albeit one located outside the old exhibition area, is the Moscow Pavilion, or as it's called, the Montreal Pavilion. It was built in 1967 in Montreal, Canada, at Expo 1967. It was subsequently dismantled and assembled in its new home in 1975. In early 1990s, it was renamed the Moscow Pavilion. The pavilion is currently under renovation and will soon again boast its large windows and modern appearance. After 2 decades of oblivion, the exhibition is beginning to come to life again. Its renovation is nearly complete, and now we can enjoy its former splendor. VDNKh is definitely worth exploring for yourself. See you again soon.